Credit card debt is surging. Fantastic.
Americans owe more than $1 trillion in credit card debt, up 60% from just 5 years ago.
Jesus Christ. I didn't realize it was that bad. All right, take it away.
Meantime, higher interest rates make debt even more difficult to pay off. It's a downward spiral, causing credit card delinquencies to surge. Our economics correspondent Paul Salman explains.
For 35-year-old Helena Emanalo, it started innocently enough.
My mother had to move in with us. At the time, it was my husband and I. We had a little baby, and then we had another baby on the way. The amount of people in our house almost tripled in a very short time span, and expenses tripled as well.
To meet them, like so many other Americans these days, she turned to credit cards.
It's very easy to swipe, and this is an emergency, and everything can be an emergency right now.
Before she knew it,
I accumulated about $20,000 in debt.
Compared to one estimate of average household debt nationwide, about $10,000. But it's the most indebted, like Emanalo, who've driven credit card delinquencies to their highest rate in 15 years. Cool. Bankruptcies up 12% in the last year alone.
Once you start adding all of that up.
Notice how the total debt is way higher than the increase in the total debt is way higher than the increase in delinquencies. That's another bubble. There's a debt bubble. It means that the proportion of delinquencies to debt is going down, which means that more people are holding on to higher debt and therefore higher interest payments for longer without running a delinquency. It's another bubble.
Well, you realize you don't have enough money for daycare, or you don't have enough money to pay.
No one has enough money for daycare.
Your electric bill. And then all of a sudden, things just get unmanageable very, very quickly.
People talk about a debt spiral.
I mean, that's dumbassery right there. All people are stupid. The average proletarian is subliterate, barely capable of thinking or breathing. The fact that the average human can walk and chew gum at the same time is genuinely a miracle that we take for granted. You cannot build an economic system on the assumption that everyone is going to make reasonable financial decisions and won't take advantage of the multi-billion-dollar industry designed to convince them to put everything on credit.
That sound familiar?
It does. Yeah, it does. I kind of found myself in an endless cycle of just trying to pay something, even though it wasn't making a dent in the overall amount that I owed.
And it's not
Are you saying the banks choosing not to collect is the bubble? I'm saying that the banks are holding on to a larger and larger bubble of debt, which is, by the way, exactly what the fuck they did in the lead up to the 2008 subprime mortgage crisis. They were letting anyone with $5 and dick-sucking lips get a mortgage, which meant that more and more people who weren't really capable of paying off the debt were getting that debt, and then they lied about and traded on that debt. But the underlying problem was still there. The fact that it was way too easy to get a mortgage, much in the same way that it's now way too easy to get racked up in $100,000 of credit card debt.
Millennials and older generation members like Emanalo now caught up in the debt interest whirlpool.
It's a huge problem, and it's a specifically huge problem for young people.
Personal finance guru Beth Kobliner first published Get a Financial Life for Young People, now in its 5th edition, 30 years ago. The early life debt dilemma since? Worse than ever.
We've seen the rate of credit card debt for young people go up about 190% since 2020.
Cool.
And student debt now near $2 trillion.
Last I checked, it was approximately 17,000.
25-year-old Bridget Klinger.
A lot of what I earn immediately goes to trying to pay off all of this debt every month.
Gen Z has more debt than any other generation in history before it.
Let's talk about how much credit card debt I have, and spoiler alert, it is a lot.
Hey, is it any?
Hey, wait, hold on. I want to know. Life with don't just show me the don't just show me the snippet. I want to know. Girl math. I love girl math. Don't harass this poor girl. I'm not harassing this poor girl.
I have, and spoiler alert, it is a lot.
Hey, is there any other 18-year-olds with like 6,000 in credit card debt?
And there's a new debt trap for the young, says Kobliner.
Buy now, pay later is one more example of what we're calling frictionless finance, which might sound great.
Remember, all of these problems are institutional. If an entire nation or planet is getting more in debt, it's not because individuals are getting worse at decision making. Don't be a fucking retard. I don't want to hear any of that Dave Ramsey shit. Are people stupid? Yes, almost immeasurably. But the reason why debt is increasing is because the system is being designed to increase debt. The purpose of the system is its outcome. Everything is being streamlined to maximize the amount of debt everyone gets in because everyone is debt slaves. If your solution to this relies on the assumption that all of a sudden the proletariat is going to get financially smarter, you're the idiot. You are on a believing that you can fix this problem by just magically making everyone more austere and financially responsible is genuinely stupider than putting your fucking, I don't know, luxury furniture purchases on Klarna and then forgetting to pay the bill.
It's actually quite pernicious. In general, getting further and further away from knowing how much we're spending. And sometimes we don't even realize when we're spending. In the last decade, we literally have changed the way we've made purchases. We no longer take out our wallet, use cash.
My mom's obsessed with Dave Ramsey. It's the cope of every conservative, everyone who doesn't believe in sociology, that the reason things are bad these days is because those dang kids are just making worse decisions. And if you could just straighten them out, you'd fix it. It has literally never worked ever with any population on any issue. It is never the solution. It has never been a solution to a problem to just say, what if everyone just made better decisions? It doesn't work that way. It has never worked that way.
Count out the dollar bills. Nobody does that anymore.
Not Helena
Count out the dollar bills. What the fuck you...
Manalo.
I was doing a lot of buy now, pay later. And when it came time to pay, I was like, oof, I don't have it.
And when that happens,
They say they won't charge you interest, but the problem is if you're late, you're going to be hit with a big fee.
bottom line, as Kobliner has stressed for decades, if you borrow young, you dig yourself a hole.
With my student debt, my husband's student debt.
Does anyone have any good videos they're aware of like TikTok videos of Gen Zers being like, let's look at my $23,000 of credit card debt, and then they go into all their insane purchases, and it's basically just rage bait for people like me to react to for free and easy content? Does anyone have any good videos like that?
Our car loans, credit cards is probably like the amount of a mortgage, like an amount of a current mortgage, like 125, 150,000.
So folks like Marjorie San Pietro use credit cards. Their interest rates hitched to credit scores.
Remember, one of the things we want in the future is for interest rates to go up, so good luck with your fucking credit card payments.
Our average credit card rate is about 30%, and that seems frustrating to me. It's kind of predatory.
30%, which implies a pretty low credit score. And says Emanalo,
here, I got one. I got
don't have a good credit score, like you can't buy a house, you can't buy a car.
Loan defaults, bankruptcies, and yet another grim economic statistic setting records these days, low consumer sentiment. Now, President Trump economic advisor Kevin Hassett dismisses its significance.
I actually think that we should stop calling it consumer sentiment and start calling it political sentiment, because the variable is it's really a political variable, not an economic variable.
And yes, says Joanne Shu, who runs the Consumer Sentiment Survey, the results have been a reflection of which party is in power. But recently,
Republicans actually have been showing declining sentiment this year as well. And the current reading from May shows both Republicans and independents at their lowest level since the beginning of 2025. People across the political spectrum, they have been feeling less optimistic about the economy over.
Yeah, by quite a bit. Consumer confidence is the lowest ever right now, right?
Do you want to see what $60,000 worth of debt looks like? Hi, I'm Christy, and I overshare about my debt so you can feel better about yours.
Do you want to know what's scary?
Wait, what the fuck? Why did it cut out there? Oh, this is a guy reacting? That's my job. This is one level deeper. Who fucking linked this? Here's a different one.
Because I have $30,000.
Oh my God. I don't know about this.
When we got married, we decided to start paying off debt so we could have a family. We had about $30,000 worth of credit card debt. At the time, I did have a job that was paying pretty good, but I was extremely unhappy. I hated going to work every single day.
Yeah, that changed my life, because this is so true. People have so much debt you wouldn't even believe. Like, when I sit back
in my house with the papers saying that I need to sort this out. Long story short, I
just want to see somebody explain where their fucking money's going to.
The social media marketing and sales arena. And
I joined TikTok Shop and the Creator Fund, so I'm hoping
there. But I still have to pay all that money up front, which means I need to drain my savings account of all the money I set aside for Paris this whole month. And then I got my Amex bill. And then I had to pay a vet bill. And then I did my taxes last night. And then I had to pay for all my LLC fees since I'm now a TikToker and I'm trying to pay taxes on it. I just feel like it's always something. I have cut out all unnecessary spending and it's still not enough. I have extra income coming in from TikTok.
This is rage bait.
So thankfully everything will be paid for, but I feel like I am skating on such thin ice financially all the time. I am like an eternally optimistic person, so I will always try to see the positive in a situation, but I just want to vent for a second about how tiring it is constantly walking on a knife's edge with my debt. I have a few things going in my favor, and while I do owe on my federal taxes, I am getting a bit of a state refund, so I'll like net out zero there. But I still have to pay all that money up front, which means I need to drain my savings account of all the money I set aside for Paris. I did a video recently about like my Paris wish list, and it's really starting to look like I'm not going to be able to buy a single thing on it. I would give anything for just the slightest bit of wiggle room in my budget because—
All right, that's enough Mossad op bullshit. You know, it's not just Gen Zers. We've talked at length about the economy going down, blah, blah, blah. You know how bad the deficit situation is right now? Sorry, this isn't the deficit. This is U.S. labor force participation. Look at how bad it's getting. The x-axis on this chart goes back 80 years. Look at how rapidly labor force participation has plummeted since Trump 2 began. You've got this dip down in COVID right here. It's like really plummeting right now. People are just opting out. Yeah, it's part of it. That's definitely part of it. Number of home buyers falls to lowest level ever recorded. Man, look at that gap. Buyers and sellers are a fucking mile apart. Look at that. Jesus Christ. Are those boomers retiring? Not that fast, man. That's not just a retirement wave. It's people checking out of the economy. That's the reason why it's not affecting the unemployment rate. Because unemployment only tracks people who want to be employed. Really, really rough stuff. But the real parallel here to the story about Gen Zers not being able to control their finances is that they're in, well, bad company. Look at this. U.S. national debt has increased by over $550 billion since the 1st of July this year. $500 billion in 5 weeks. Yeah, Trump's adding record debt. Record debt. Unbelievably record debt. Just a genuinely unbelievably bad. Look at this. U.S. government officially posts its largest July budget deficit in history at negative $432 billion due to an acceleration in federal spending. Interest on U.S. debt rose $26 billion from last July's level to an alarming $118 billion for the month. Remember when we were talking about how U.S. interest on debt just exceeded $1 trillion per year? Congratulations. It's up to 1.2. In between the time you heard news articles talking about our interest payments hitting $1 trillion, they're now up 20%. It hasn't even been a year. Not even close. We're at like 110% of GDP now. It's bad. Yeah, hold on. U.S. debt to GDP ratio chart. It has been going up. This doesn't even have the most recent information. U.S. debt chart. Unfortunately, charts like this measure by quarter, so we don't even have the information we're looking at, which includes Q2 and Q3. It's been skyrocketing, that's for sure. Here we go. This is a good way of trying to understand how rapidly it's rising right now. In 2024, the July budget deficit was $244 billion. 1 year later, under Trump, it was $291 billion. A significant increase, to be sure, of about $50 billion, so about a 20% increase year over year. That's a lot. A 20% increase in the deficit over 1 year is a lot. But between 2025 and 2026, $140 billion up, nearly a 50% increase. The rate at which we are indebting ourselves is exponential. It's pretty bad. Oh, you found me a good slop short form Gen Z video on debt? Yeah, sure, why not? That'd be a good way to cap this off, huh? How I got into 24,500.
Off with more than $19,000 of credit card debt at the beginning of my journey in 2025. I had $24,446.36.
You can't just pick 1 month because a lot of bond auctions are made just 1 month. Yeah, but we're comparing the same month, year to year.
of credit card debt. And it was so many little things. A lot of little things is what got me into all of this credit card debt in the first place. A rapid fire, here are the big ones, which led to most of my credit card debt. One is clothes. I would shop all of the time, like multiple times a week, on the weekends for fun. Second is food. So I spent a lot of my money trying new restaurants, ordering takeout, happy hours, brunches. Third thing was traveling. We did so many weekend getaways and mini trips, and those truly add up. Although this is part of my credit card debt that I don't regret.
Boo her. She deserves to be booed. Well, look, she's an idiot, and statistically speaking, so are you. And I know that I am. But this is a systematic problem. You really can't, like, individual criticism your way out of this. There are a bunch of systematic factors that have led to this being such a broader issue, you know? Stuff like this is fun rage bait, and it's all good to offer good financial advice to people, but it doesn't change the underlying fact that on every level of our economy, from Gen Zers to the US federal government, debt is skyrocketing. It's a debtor's economy, and it's being done on purpose.
Because we have some really incredible experiences and memories that we'll get to cherish for the rest of our lives. But the other materialistic things I do regret immensely. The fourth thing was tattoos. During this period...
She's not even saying the shit she spent money on. It's such a waste of time. These people, no wonder this only has 300 likes. And why I have, I guess right now, like exactly 600k subscribers. You have to give them the details. Short form video content. Credit cards on tattoos, what the fuck? Yeah, it's pretty funny. You can't even budget for a cash purchase of something that you're going to have on your body for the rest of your life. Ridiculous. Whatever. Only like 5% of people in Europe have credit card debt, imagine? Yeah, so I guess a good way of putting it is, do you think that the average European is like 1,000 times more financially responsible than the average American? Or do you think that the credit economy has just spent an overwhelming amount of time and energy into trying to make Americans like this?